Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and we are up again today with more from KSCRAFT. So today I'm using the very large flower. You can actually buy stamens that spiral up to go in these. Now KSCRAFT has these as spring, but of course they can also be autumn, because if you layer all of your sets up, and they do layer, I think into 4 layers if you want them to, you can make a great sunflower. So I'm also using the bunny butt die, which is basically the rabbit disappearing into a hole. Now you can do this as a shaker. I'm not doing that today, and I'm using the grass piece. Now if I put my finger there and shake them a bit, you can see there's also another springtime circle that you can use, which is a butterfly border. So you get a grass border and you also get a butterfly border, and of course this is the piece that would make a shaker, but I'm just using it as a frame today. You also get a little happy Easter sentiment in this, which is really sweet. So let's make a card. Now what I've decided is I used one of the large flower dies and I cut an aperture in a piece of cardstock, and I've also kept the flower that came out of that in matching size paper using the same size frame. I've used a piece of the plaid from that Snap Click Supply set. I'm just going to squish that up to get it straight, so that I'm going to have plaid underneath. And then also on my background I've got a piece of white which is slightly larger. So all I'm going to do is take my glue those exactly as you can see them, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's my base made, and all of those pieces are now glued down. Now the next thing I need to do is my flower. So I'm just going to grab that, and these are the pieces that I cut. So I've got a pink, I've got a paler cream vanilla, and a slightly more banana-y vanilla. And what I want to do is I want to curl these up. So I don't want to do them separately. I'm going to dust my fluff off and glue them each layer at a time. Now I'm looking at them and I'm looking at my plaid, because I do want to see the plaid underneath. So I think I'm going to cross over. Whereas if you look at KSCRAFT, she's actually lined hers up. But I think I'm going to cross over and just have like a double layer bloom in the middle, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm going to do, and it's just the actual center that I'm gluing. So you just need to get your glue there, just as long as you're down flat, that's all you need to worry about. And I am lining these up. Ooh, is there a way to line them up? I think there is, or there isn't. No, I'm moving that one, and then I'm going to move it over a little bit, and I'm just going to go there. So remember, it's just the center that we're gluing. And then I'm looking at this and I'm going to go kind of crossways, and I'm going to glue that bit down into the middle of my pink. And I've got all sorts of little bits of chocolate brown fluff from my cardstock from my cutting plate, so you have to forgive me. And I'm hoping that I'm kind of going in the center here. Just squidge it around. And of course it's not until you press that things become final, so I'm just going to go there. Right, now that I've got my pieces where I want them, I'm just going to cap my glue off. I'm now going to curl my edges up. So I do want my bloom to have a bit of dimension, so just go with your top one first, and then your vanilla, and then go to your pink. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So just running it up like you curl your ribbon, and then just go under and do that. Right, I'm going to do all of that and I will be right back. Right, so I have curled my blossom, and if I put it that way around, you can see how curled up it is. So, you know, whether you're using a pencil or your pokey tool or whatever. And the idea for this is that it's going to be offset. So I don't know if I've actually got that one on straight. Probably needs to go up that way a bit. But I want it offset so that I can see the plaid underneath. But before I stick that down, I need to do the bunny butt. Now the bunny butt is much larger than this centre, so these are going to be sort of like flattened down slightly, and I've decided to choose a pale green for my bunny butt, and it's a kind of sagey green, and it's got to go down in here, so you can see just how much of my flower there that I'm going to lose. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around this ring, and then there is a circle that popped out of the middle of it, so I will be using that, and also the circle that popped out of the shaker ring. Now I need to make sure that I've got that in the centre, and I might need to pick it up towards me. And I think I'm just about there actually, so I just need to make sure that it's sticking down on those petal sections. I'm just going to hold that for a second and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm happy that my grass wreath, I'm going to call it, and this is the circle that popped out, so I'm just putting some glue onto that. And I'm going to stick it right in the middle, which is where it belongs. And I have a second one which popped out of the shaker section, which is this. That's going to go onto there, but I also want to use my second one, only because I want it to look, you know, a little bit more solid, because my bunny is just going to be vanishing down a hole in the hillside or something like that. So that's slightly raised up, and that's a really solid piece now. So that's glued down. I do apologise for my paper. Did I tell you I've got some vinyl coming? Oh, I'm so excited about it. I'll just rip everything off the craft table and cover it. And then I should be able to pan out a lot more with my camera and get larger items in the picture. Although, to be honest, I do like to drop the camera down and have it quite close, because it's nice to see exactly what something looks like, complete with all its errors, if you know what I mean. There, so now we've got our centering. And you can see how that still looks curly around the edges. So I really love that. I mean, this is basically the embellishment piece to go on top of here. So making it independent of what you're doing is okay. But what I will say is, for your bunny butt bit, you need to glue it down so that you've got your bunny butt in the right place. Now, I'm going off centre like that so that I can see my plaid underneath, because I quite like the idea of that. But you can also, you know, adjust it. You can feel where the petals are and know that you are directly in the centre with what you're doing. And you can see that from your stitch mark if you're using there. That's the middle. Now, do I want to pop that up on pads? That's the thing, because you totally can if you want to. I think I'm actually going to just glue this one in flat. So I've got my bottle here. I'm going to make sure that it's well stuck down. And I'm just going to lift it to myself to make sure that I have got it in the centre. Looking at where my petals are. I might need to go over there just a fraction. Right, I'm going to be happy with that. But do you see how using that second green circle means that you've been able to glue it down and you haven't got any of the lines from the flower showing through it, which I really enjoy. So now we've got that. You can see your bit of plaid underneath and you got your lovely dimension. I really like that. Yeah. Woo! Camera's working. Hey! Time to celebrate. Right. Now with the bunny butt, you get a little body like this and you'll see that it's kind of flatter at the bottom than it is at the top. That is the top of your bunny butt, the curve. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yeah, I'll go flat with this. And then I think with the feet and the tail, I'm going to put those up on pads. So I am going right here. So that is my bunny butt, and he's going to be vanishing off down that little grassy hole, bless him. Just stick that down. Now I've already made a little tail and I put a little pink fluffy pom-pom on top, and his little tail needs to go, I don't know, if it goes in the centre, about there should do it, I think. And because he's already got dimension via the pom-pom, I'm not popping that up on foam pads, but just give your little tail a squish to make sure it's held in place. Now this is the lovely little sentiment that comes with it. Now if you watch yesterday's video, you can see I've got kind of like milk chocolate Easter on the brain, and I kind of like the idea of having that in there. But I think I'm going to pop that on foam pads. So my little bunny feet come in two pieces. You get a flat piece and you'll get a piece that cuts holes. So my flat piece is done in pink, and then the one that cuts the little holes is done in white. But if you look at this here, you know, your rabbit usually has a little bit of dimension in its feet. So I've got one pad there, and I've got another little strip of, these are from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to cut this one, and please excuse my throat once more. And I'm going to pull that off and see if I need to trim. Get it down as far to the toes. Yeah, this needs just a little fraction off it. So I'm going to pull that. My glue's gone really sticky. Now I'm not going to waste that tiny little piece, and I'm just going to put it into my sentiment and pop that down there. I'm going to do the same with my other little strip, which is still attached to here, and I'm going to cut a little piece off the top there, and then just take this bit for that foot, pop it right down in there. Right, and I've got this little scrap. I always save my little scraps, they're just useful. You can kind of like put them in weird little places like that, and then we'll finish those off in a second. But for now we need feet. So the feet are identical, it's just a matter of positioning them how you want them. You can have them straight up and down if you want, but I'm kind of thinking of, you know, just a little bit of angle on my feet as he vanishes off down in that hole. And I think about there. So there's our little bunny. That's his little butt, bless him. I think that's so cute. I can hear my beau, he's barking at something. And then I'm just going to cut a thin strip and see if it'll fit into here. And it does. So I'm going to start my happy and then do the Easter. How's your weather doing, all you people out there? Mine's warmed up slightly and I'm truly grateful for it, I can tell you now. I'm going to go slightly skew-if with my happy. Or shall I say my hoppy? Yeah, just say hoppy. I'm going to flip that over. And then I think this strip should just fit into there. If it's too wide, which it is, and I'll just cut it down. You get glorious gunk all over your scissors when you're cutting foam pads. So I'm going to go in the centre there and then chop this in half to give a little bit of support to the E and the R. So we got that there. And then on this bit I'm going to kind of fit that in at an angle. So you can always use up your little bits and pieces. Yeah, my weather has warmed up. I'm so glad. Now I'm just going to lift this up to myself because I want it to be reasonably straight, but I also want it on the top of my bunny butt. There we go. Let's see if we can get close. It has gone a little bit grey outside, I must admit, but there we go. Isn't that a lovely little sentiment? Hoppy Easter, little fluffy tail, his little trotters there just kicking out behind him, just lifted up a little bit on those pads, and you've got that lovely flower and you've got that lovely plaid behind. I really love that. That's just so sweet. And different, yes. Sometimes it's nice to be a little bit different. Right, let's give this a measure. Now this is a square card, so I'll tell you the finished size, and that is, let's get that correct, 5 3/4 inches square. That's how big that finished card is. I really enjoyed making that. I do love Easter. I love the pastels, but as you can see, I'm loving my milk chocolate this year. So I've only got a little piece of that cardstock left. I think you only get one sheet in the pack. It's the Tim Holtz's craftback cardstock. So once I've used that up, I might have to go and get another pack just for that sheet, because it just reminds me of milk chocolate. Right, I thank you so much for joining me today. Do have an absolutely awesome day, and as usual, all links below. Bye.